Watch the Mega Millions drawing live tonight here on TV23. Covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV23 Studios in Sublette, this is High Plains Today.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well today on this Friday, November 13th. Yeah, it's Friday the 13th, 2015. Welcome to High Plains Today on TV23. And since it is Friday, today I'll be joined by my good friend, Dr. Jack. We're going to talk about some football. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that's happening out there. Benjamin Morales Viceza was convicted yesterday afternoon in Ford County District Court of one count of aggravated indecent liberties with a child. His plea was the product of an agreement with the state that will result in a recommendation for a sentence of 165 months in prison. Morales is not a U.S. citizen and was advised by Judge Van Z. Hampton that if he is not legally present in the United States, the offense will likely result in deportation by immigration officials upon his release from prison. Robert Earl Hunter has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The sentence was mandatory under Kansas law for a third conviction of a sexually violent crime. Hunter was convicted in January of this year of rape of a child under 13 and two other sexual molestation charges. Because Hunter had two prior convictions for the same crimes in the late 1980s, Kansas law calls for a mandatory life sentence for the recent convictions. Judge Van Z. Hampton again pronounced the sentence yesterday morning in Ford County District Court. Yesterday, the Liberal Police Department responded to two calls involving counterfeit currency being passed at local businesses. The department has seized two of these counterfeit bills. The bills being passed have been in the $100 denomination. Any person that might have information regarding this crime is encouraged to call the Liberal Police Department. The number is there on the screen. Persons providing information leading to the arrest of those responsible for this crime are also eligible for a reward. And police arrested a 34-year-old Garden City man Wednesday afternoon for allegedly battering and kidnapping a woman. Horacio Mario Diaz Gomez was arrested on allegations of aggravated battery, aggravated kidnapping, interference with a law enforcement officer, and criminal restraint battery. Garden City Police went to St. Catherine Hospital, and when they got there, found officers arrived. They met with a 44-year-old Garden City woman who had injuries to her head and face. Now, according to the police, the woman went to Gomez's residence on Sunday, and then when she attempted to leave the residence on Monday, Gomez told her she could not leave. Gomez then battered the woman on multiple occasions and would not allow her to leave the residence. Sheriff Troy Briggs of Haskell County took over last night as the incoming president of the Kansas Sheriff's Association. Sheriff Briggs received his president's jacket from the outgoing president, Jeff Herrig. Congrats to Sheriff Briggs. Good job. Well, tomorrow is opening day for pheasant and quail hunting season in the state of Kansas. The season runs from Saturday through January 31st of 2016. According to the Kansas Wildlife Parks and Tourism, the ring-necked pheasant may be the most popular game bird in the state of Kansas, with between 110 and 150,000 hunters pursuing the species each season. Typically, Kansas places in the top 3 or 4 pheasant hunting states in the U.S. And yesterday, Congressman Tim Huelskamp continued the tradition of holding a town hall in every county in the Big First District, being in Sublette at the Haskell County Courthouse. Now, that event was the Congressman's 330th town hall since taking office. And also make sure you tune in on Monday for a special edition of High Plains Today as we sit down and have an in-depth conversation with the Congressman. And admission is free for this weekend's Holiday Home and Fun Show. There's going to be over 45 vendors. It'll happen out at the Seward County Activity Center. Santa will be available both days to talk to the children, read them stories, and for parents to take pictures. And tomorrow it starts at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from noon to 5. Got lost there in the teleprompter for a minute. And also, Pheasant Heaven Charities will be holding their annual calf fry, beef feed, and pig roast tonight in Hugoton. Doors open at 4. Now, there is no charge for the meal, but a free will donation will be accepted. A silent and live auction will also be held. All these monies will be benefiting various charitable needs in Southwest Kansas. We had those guys on earlier in the week. Good guys. You need to get to Hugoton tonight to that. And that's a look at some of the happenings out there. Stick around. We're going to be back with the weather after this.
You're watching High Plains Today on TV23 with host Chris Jewell. TV23's internet service and 4G live streaming provided by United Wireless. Coverage you deserve. Service you expect. United Wireless.
Hi, Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs weekdays at noon right here on TV23. We talk about news, we talk about sports, we talk about weather, we're even going to talk entertainment. We'll have live guests right here on set with me. So, every day at noon, tune in, High Plains Today. We'll see you then.
Weekdays here on TV23.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you. Wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If you're pregnant or have young children and your home was built before 1978, you could be at risk. Learn how to protect your family. To find your home's danger zones, the health effects, or just to find help, log on to leadfreekids.org.
Now, the local weather forecast for the High Plains.
And as we look off to the northeast on the TV23 tower cam, you can see it is a pretty nice day out there. Fooled you, came in from the other side today. Let's take a look at the readings here at the station. Temperature 55 degrees, relative humidity 42%. Winds are out of the southwest at 20, and there's Felix the Fly. Barometric pressure is falling. As we look at the current temps around the area, looking at Guyman and Perryton and Pratt, all seem to be the warm spots at 61. Everybody else pretty much in the 50s. Lamar, clear out there, 50 degrees, but I think they'll be getting warmed up later today. Nothing real exciting in the current dew points around the area. Everybody in the 20s and 30s. Looking at our wind speeds, everybody is pretty much south-southwesterly. Not a lot of wind. Perryton at 21. Everybody else pretty much in the teens, except you get over here to the east a little further. Pratt and Hayes both at 21 and 20. Looking at our recorded highs and lows at the Garden City Regional Airport, 57 was our high yesterday, 79 back in 1989, 30 the low overnight low, 9 back in 1986. No precipitation in the bucket. Looking at our forecast for today, it's going to be fairly nice. 61 degrees for our high. Winds are going to be out of the southwest at 15. Then tonight, 36 for the low. Winds out of the south-southwest at 11. Tomorrow, a high of 61. Winds are going to be out of south-southwest at 14. They're going to be climbing up to about 20 miles an hour later in the afternoon. Lay down a little bit for tomorrow night. 40 degrees for the low. Mostly clear. South winds at 14. All right. We're looking pretty good through Saturday and Sunday. We get into Monday. There is a 60% chance of rain. 64 for the high. Look at this on Tuesday. Yep, those are snowflakes in there. 60% chance after midnight on Tuesday, only a high of 43. But we're going to start to warm up as we work towards the end of next week, but not much. and we've got some lows that are going to be in the 30s and the 40s. That's a look at weather. We'll be back with markets and Dr. Jack after this.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 110 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 600% increase in the last 20 years. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/sign.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 88. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome back on this Friday the 13th. There he is, my good friend, Dr. Jack Jacob. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
I'm pretty good so far. It's Friday the 13th. Nothing's really bad happened, so we're going to just keep going.
Absolutely.
Onward, ever onward. Onward, ever onward. That's from something, isn't it?
It is now.
Okay. All right. There you go. Hey, now, high school football in the state of Kansas is starting to wind down because we're into the semifinal weekend, correct?
Well, for the smaller classes.
Okay.
For 8-man, you're down to the semis. For everybody else, you're quarters.
Okay. All right. Well, out here in the area, though, we got tonight, Andale makes a trek westward there at Hugoton.
Yeah, and that's a tall order for Hugoton. I think Hugoton's done well, and they're on the upswing, but Andale's a really tough program.
Andale has always been a tough program. Gary O'Hare, when he left Southwestern Heights and went over there, he's just been something.
Yep. So Hugoton's going to have to play probably, honestly, beyond themselves to get a win in that game. In high school football and playoff times, you don't count anybody out because somebody can have a red-hot game, and you wake up the next morning, you read the paper, and you go, what?
Yeah, you and I did it. Yeah, we did a few of those earlier in the season. Went, huh?
Well, and to a certain extent, you kind of got that with Scott City Norton last week.
Yes. Yeah, that one kind of surprised us.
It did.
Kind of snuck right up on us. And then Wamego is at Holcomb tonight.
Yeah, and I think Holcomb certainly should win this contest. Wamego's, they struggled last week. At the halftime, they were down 20-0. And going into the fourth quarter, they were down 27-7 and managed to score on 3 long touchdown passes and come back and win that game 28-27. They scored the last time with like 1:33 left to go. So they have had to come from behind when you look on the Holcomb side, and really, other than stumbling against Scott City and Ulysses, they haven't had a contest.
Well, yeah, but stumbling against Scott City and Ulysses, 2 pretty good programs.
But also 2 programs that are no longer in the playoffs.
Well, that's true. But hey, let me quote you. Anything can happen at playoff
That's
time.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
All right. Then another one that we're going to be keeping an eye on, though, is now this might be Meade's first really big test on their road to another state championship because they have Phillipsburg coming to town tonight.
Yeah, I really look at this contest with Meade probably similar to the Marion game in terms of where Marion was at that time, and Meade didn't have any problem handling them. I think the thing that makes this really interesting is both teams haven't been challenged for a while, and so how do you come out of the gates? Do you come out prepared to play, or do you have to ramp up to that? Coach Moser usually has the Buffaloes ready to respond to the challenge from walking out of the locker room, but with high school athletes, you never quite know.
Yeah, to me, it always amazes me is you really aren't tested until a program like Meade when you get into the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, you've got to start getting your kids. I mean, you've had to keep them up all year, but now that you're starting to play somebody, keeping them up, it's kind of got to be a tough deal, doesn't it?
Well, and really, I would say the bigger challenge is going the other way, is getting them to calm down enough to play like they can. For instance, we saw this earlier in the year, weeks 1 and 2. Quarterbacks are nervous, and so they float some balls that are picks. Or they knuckle over some balls and they're throwing them short. Some of your receivers that are so ramped up and excited that they're looking down the field before they make the catch. And so you've got to calm down some of that. You got defensive linemen that are shooting so hard into the backfield that they run past tackles. And so you've got to really kind of calm some of that down, as well as getting guys. The big challenge I think there with keeping them up is if you get punched in the mouth.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. If you get behind, don't panic.
Right.
Don't panic. Just play your game, and things will come around, right?
And I think that's as much a coaching thing as well. I think we saw it this week with K-State. Changing up and not playing your game plan because you felt like you were always behind. And Coach Snyder doesn't fall into that very often, but he did this week.
I know. I kept wanting to say run. I wanted to call it run the ball. Anyway, yeah. And okay, so and then you're doing you've got a high school game yet tonight. You're going to Oklahoma. You might as well be going to Tulsa. You're going to Geary.
Yep.
Turpin is playing Geary. I mean, you're over halfway to Oklahoma City by the time you get there.
Yeah, you're almost there. You're just north of the Cherokee Trading Outpost.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's going to be a good game, though. Geary was second in their district. Of course, Turpin was third in theirs. Geary only lost one game to the defending state champs and played them to a 42-22 game. So that was a tough contest. Turpin certainly has his work cut out for it. The seniors have got to pull together and play as a unit. And if they do that, Matt Young's got enough speed. Alba can get outside and get some receptions. You got Jordan Lujan, has a really good hands. You got George Dominguez, the big running back that can run things up the middle. Now, Dominguez is going to have a challenge because probably one of the better prospects at nose guard in the state of Oklahoma is playing at Geary.
At Geary?
He's about 6'4", 277 pounds.
Oh, isn't that slobber out of you?
So, so Dominguez is going to have to run. He's going to have to run through and not run up to him and think, I'm about to get crushed. But yeah, so the Cardinals can win, obviously, but they're going to have to absolutely play their best game.
They're going to be tested tonight.
Yep.
All right. Okay, let's look at, as we call it, the, are you kidding me? The college top four for the playoffs. They've got them listed this week. Clemson's still at number 1. I can live with that. Alabama shot up to 2 after beating LSU, but it was a home game for Alabama. Ohio State at 3, Notre Dame at 4, and then, of course, Iowa skipped all the way up to 5. I don't know if that's just a little more Big Ten love for the conference, and then Baylor at 6.
Yeah, and I think that, and I don't want to be one of these guys that beats the drum all the time, but come on. I understand the Big 12 is confused because they only have 10 teams and they call themselves the Big 12, but don't hold that against them. Come on. You don't put 2 teams from the same Power 5 conference ahead of an undefeated team that's leading the other conference.
Well, and the other thing is, too, I mean, look at OU and Oklahoma State. I mean, if those 2 teams, well, they can't both win out because they got to play each other yet.
Right.
But if one of those teams wins out, then where are they going to fall in this whole equation?
Well, I think
things could change.
I think by that point, some of the rest will shake itself out. And I would hope that there would be enough intelligence on that committee because you don't get to do this too many years where you eliminate an obvious pick before people say, you know what, you're just stupid. We want you to go away.
Yeah, and you got to look at a team like OU. If they win out, they've got more quality wins than, say, number 4 Notre Dame.
But they also have a worse loss.
But they have, because Notre Dame went to kill Texas in week 1 or 2.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. And then the game, but that OU Baylor game is going to be something to watch tomorrow.
It is. I think you look at the next 3 weeks. You got, Oklahoma State plays Iowa State this week, but Baylor plays Oklahoma. There's your premier key game. Then you've got Oklahoma State, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And really, if Oklahoma State can find their way past Baylor, which I think is much more winnable now that we're playing a different quarterback, then it really comes down to OU, OSU.
Oklahoma State is probably, of all of them, is probably the one that controls their own destiny in this playoff deal in the Big 12.
But they're also the ones that will give you acid reflux. Because, I mean, come on.
Acid reflux, all right.
They fight their way back through games that they should have won by a mile.
That's true, and they have been known to go to Ames and kind of acid reflux their way up there, too.
So, and I don't care if you win by a point, it's still a W.
Yeah.
And if you were able to do that against Baylor and Oklahoma, but I think it hurts when the selection committee looks at you for the eye test.
Okay. Thanks for coming by today. I always enjoy having you on here. Thanks. See you again next week.
All right.
All right. And stick around. I'll be back with maybe a little more after this.
Are you tired of worrying about going over your cell phone data cap? Tired of surprise bills and text messages asking for more money? Stop the insanity. Switch to unlimited nationwide data from United Wireless. Switching is easy. Come in today and see for yourself. For a limited time, get free activation, up to $200 per line bill credit, and save on the latest smartphones. See how much you can save with unlimited nationwide data from United Wireless. See store for details.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you. Wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
It's not his new group of friends. It's not the video games. It's not the neighborhood.
Mom, do I have to go to school today?
The biggest threat to your child's future could be you. Every day they miss, even in middle school, puts their graduation at risk.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah, this is the place.
And just a reminder tonight in high school football in 4A, Andale is at Hugoton and Wamego is at Holcomb. And in 2A, Phillipsburg is at Meade. Okay, when Nike and the NFL planned to have the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills wear their special color rush uniforms last night, there probably wasn't a colorblind person in the room. If there were, it was unlikely the combination would have been approved. Now, as a promotion of color rush uniforms, the Jets and Bills played in all color uniforms rather than the standard color for the home team and white for the road team. It looked like a Christmas celebration at MetLife Stadium because the Jets were decked out in all green. The Bills were wearing scarlet red from head to toe. Both teams were solid colors. Their socks, their cleats, their jerseys, everything. It was a mess. Anyway, by the way, the Bills beat the Jets 22-17. Oh, and don't forget, tune in Monday. We have that special interview in-depth interview with Congressman Huelskamp. So be sure to tune in Monday and join us for that. Hey, let's take a last look at our weather. 57 degrees out there. Relative humidity is 40%. Winds are out of the southwest at 20. Barometric pressure is falling. As we look ahead, you know, it's going to be pretty fair over the weekend. It's going to be a little breezy, but nothing that we're not used to out here. Although there's some weather going to try and sneak in here. Starting on Monday, 60% on Monday. There's a chance of snow on Tuesday. So go out and have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Call your cable company.
Keep up to date with the latest information from TV23 on our Facebook page, KDGLTV.
Hi, I'm Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs at noon weekdays right here on TV23. Hey, do you think you have an idea for something that would make a great segment? Somebody that would make a great interview? What about a community event that needs highlighting? Let us know here at the station. Email us news@kdgltv.com.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.